Hey everyone, and welcome to the Perfect Bite podcast, your fusion of food and entrepreneurship. You'll hear stories from chefs, restaurateurs, CPG brands, and more from the food and bev industry. All of them are at different points in their journeys, talking about their experiences and how they've cooked up something new. Let's dig in. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Perfect Bite podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Perkins. I'm not going to lie, I'm someone who could eat pasta every single day if I let myself. Even thinking about pasta makes me happy. So when today's guest got in touch, I couldn't be more excited to help share his story. From falling in love with food down in Jackson, Mississippi, to finding himself living an Italian foodie dream, to bringing his experiences back to his hometown and opening his own restaurant. You really can go back home and share everything you learned. Please welcome chef and owner of Pulito Osteria, Chef Chaz Lindsay. Hi, Chaz.
Hey, good morning.
How are you? How's it down in Mississippi?
Hot, steamy, it's a beautiful sunshiny day today there, so we'll take it. We've had a lot of rain.
I feel you. Yeah, this summer has been muggy, and I can't imagine what it's like even further south.
Well, our tomatoes love it, so I'll keep it coming.
Well, that's what we want to hear. We're always in a, tomato girl summer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, and that definitely works well for your restaurant. I can't wait to get into everything you're making and your whole journey of how you found yourself becoming a chef and opening your own places. So let's talk about when you first fell in love with food. What were some of those favorite foods you had as a kid? What was cooking like in your household growing up?
So my mom's from the coast. She's from a town called Picayune. So there are a lot of gumbo. Like, basically my joke is that if someone is sick, has died, or is getting married, mom's making gumbo. So we always had gumbo around the house. She makes killer jambalaya. I mean, we always had cornbread every single meal. I've actually got a tattoo of a pan of cornbread that says mom underneath it. So, I mean, my mom was a very, very good cook because my grandmother was also a very good cook. She was a Depression baby, South Central Mississippi. She had some fantastic stories about the guinea hens running around wild and churning their own butter and all that stuff. My dad's mother, on the other hand, the green gelatinous Waldorf salad and with the Jello and all that with the banana. He's like, that's what we're eating. But I remember every day it was like some type of sandwich and ramen noodles when we were staying in her house during the summer. So I had opposite ends of the spectrum as far as family food experiences. But yeah, my mom's uncle, he's a big cattle farmer. He's like 86 now and still works his farm every single day.
Wow.
So mom would send me down there every summer. And so I had a good appreciation of farming and farm-to-table growing your own food, like from a very early age. And that just kind of like stuck with me. And it's really what we do here at Pulito. Like 90% of our menu comes from a local farm.
Wow.
Or at least the vegetables do. Protein's a little bit harder to source and make it financially responsible for a restaurant these days. But our vegetables are 90% Mississippi, 25 minutes away from here.
That is so interesting. I'm excited to hear, too, what those veggies look like, maybe in comparison to the Midwest or some other spots, and how you're bringing those in seasonally.
Yeah, absolutely. Like right now, as we mentioned, it's tomato season here. And like, it's just a beautiful time of year to cook because it is really hot down here. And so you don't have to do a lot for the vegetables. Like, our tomato salad, we just buy really nice heirloom tomatoes and a couple of different varieties of we're making passata out of the aromas and San Marzanos that we get. There's several different varieties of cherry tomatoes, and all those basically just get sliced. Really nice olive oil from the farm that I worked on in Italy, white balsamic vinegar, and then fresh basil from the farm here with some Maldon salt and cracked black pepper. And for me, it's perfect. Like, I've always said that my death row meal would be like a Mississippi tomato sandwich on white bread with mayonnaise, salt and pepper. Yeah.
Wow. That's very specific. I'm excited to hear what your perfect bite is later, if that's the same.
Don't worry. I got that one in his back pocket. I thought about that one a lot. But
the world's best and hardest question.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, that sounds amazing. And agreed. Like, The type of tomato makes all the difference because I'm a girl who can have a ton of tomatoes in different forms. But if you give me a raw tomato that's just watery, then it's not happening. It's not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good, and especially those like GMO ones that are like white, like cardboard-esque, like that make those. But like, I eat a lot of tomatoes right now, which is also followed by like a fair amount of Pepsi C. But for our tomato salad, we don't serve the core or anything like that. We slice around it. We also slice the ends off. So a lot of my dinners these nights are just like that end piece of the tomato with some Maldon salt on it. Good to go, and that's all I need. It's like, it's perfect. It's so good.
That's the on-the-go dinner. I love it. So let's talk a little bit more about your culinary journey. So again, you had this exposure at a young age to what good cooking can be, and also what not so great cooking can be. What was really that moment that made you decide you want to go into the restaurant industry and also to become a chef?
Well, I always loved food. Mom's got a great story. I think I was like second or third grade. We were on vacation in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Yeah.
And I had like disappeared and had some pesos in my pocket and went and bought some elotes en vaso, just like the street corn. And Mom was like absolutely terrified. She was like, I don't know where this came from. He's going to get food poisoning. I was totally fine. So I always like had an interest. And then my first job when I was 14 years old was at the Winn-Dixie, which is actually only 2 blocks away from Pulito. And I've always been fascinated by grocery stores. I don't ever want to work in one again. But so I've always just liked being around food. And I got a job at another place called Pizza Shack when I was almost 16. That's also 2 blocks away from where Pulito is now.
Wow.
Well, it used to be. That building got demolished and they built a new hospital there. But I just fell in love with restaurants. I like the energy. I like the chaos. Just this group of misfits, everybody hanging out. And I hated school. Like, I absolutely hated school. Never wanted to do homework. Didn't do my summer reading. Like, my girlfriend, she's got teenagers and she's like, I got to find a copy of 1984. I'm like, they're still reading that series? I mean, it's great.
Still.
Like one of the few that I read that I can remember. But it was like, that Fahrenheit, I don't remember the numbers.
Like 411? Okay. Someone's going to like write in and be like, you're wrong.
No, like
we'll look it up.
You clearly didn't read it. Yeah. And like To Kill a Mockingbird was always one. Yeah. But I just, like school was not like, it was not my thing. Luckily, my parents were able to get me in their program that like fast tracked me to graduate a year early. But then they wanted me to do the traditional college route. And so I did that and barely made it a semester. It was not a success because I wanted to go to culinary school. At that point, I'd been working here in Jackson, Mississippi, like they were pseudo high-end Asian restaurant called Pan Asia, where I learned like a lot more technique. I was super fast-paced cooking. Night work was very important. And, I loved it. I loved how you had to move, how you had to be organized. Because even though I couldn't like organize my brain academically, there was something about cooking that just like clicked,
Yeah.
And so finally, after a failed stint at the University of Southern Mississippi and then community college here, my parents were like, all right, let's try this culinary school thing. Obviously, it's what he wants to do. And so I packed up and I moved to Hyde Park, New York. Well, went to the Culinary Institute of America. And I loved it. Like, you had to wake up at 5:30 in the morning for class. Did not care. Wanted to be there. Was just super fascinated. Enjoyed it. Did well. And then you have to do an externship for CIA. It's like 4.5 months. And like, I've really gotten into like more fine dining and I wanted to push myself to do that. And so I like beat down the door at 11 Madison Park. It took me a couple of tries of like sodding and then they finally extended the job offer to me. So I moved to New York City. I lived in a loft above the bathroom with a couple other dudes from Mississippi and was at 11 Madison. And the opportunity there came up to do recipe testing for their first cookbook. And so I extended my externship and I ended up staying at EMP for about a year and worked on that. And it was grueling. It was really hard. And then finally went back to the IA, finished up, and then moved back to New York. And had my like fun 21 era of working at a super hip, cool cafe in Brooklyn. still there. It's called Cafe Colette. It's a lot of fun. Like, I had a lot of fun working there. But I was like, I've got to get back into it. Like, I need to do fine dining. This is what I'm here for. This is New York City.
Yep.
And that's where I went to work at Colicchio and Sons, which is now shuttered. But got hired directly on the hotline there. And I had a goal for myself. I was like, I want to make sous chef like in a year. And I was 22 at the time. And I think I started April. Let me do this math here. April 12th of 2012. So yeah, 22. And then I got promoted to sous chef April 13th of 23.
Very quick.
Nick, that's wrong. Oh, 12. See, I can't be mine.
We don't need that here.
13. Yeah. You did it, all right? Like, the timeline's there. So I made it within a year and a day.
Amazing.
Was promoted to sous chef at the tap room. Did that for a year, and then I wanted to go be the AM sous chef at Craft, which is the flagship restaurant. I was like, absolutely. And that was where, like, I really fell in love with, like, farm to table and the style of cuisine that we do here at Pulito. It's not far off from Craft at all, although Colicchio did just switch the menu to Olive Garden.
Right.
It's been all over the New York Times. But part of my responsibilities as a sous chef there was I had to be at the Union Square Green Market at 7 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And, like, had to be there, had to beat everybody, get all the fresh vegetables. I had a wheelbarrow and push it around and fill it up sometimes twice a day. And I loved it. I loved, like, getting to know the farmers. I also like being in the chase with the other sous chefs, feeding people and buying it before they could get it. Like, I loved it.
Little grocery games here, farmers market style.
Yeah, way more expensive grocery games. But yeah, it was awesome. I really, really loved it. And then got burnt out on New York City living. I was tired of the rat race and being on the train every day. And in 2011, I'd taken another 6 weeks off CIA and gone to Italy, a little town called Toscana. I was on Sahara Saladas for 6 weeks straight. It's like some of the hardest work I've ever done in my life. But the owner of the farm and I remained close. And so when I decided at the end of 2015, he was in the city. We had dinner. I was like, I'm leaving New York. I don't know where I'm going and what I'm going to do. I'd been like traveling around to like smaller cities in the U.S. Like Cleveland was one of them. Thought about Oklahoma City, thought about New Orleans. I wasn't sure. And he was like, well, we're opening a restaurant on the farm. Why don't you just come be the chef? And I was like, done here.
Wow.
And so, yeah, like I had an apartment in the horse stable. The restaurant was open Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. And then I'd work on the farm the rest of the week and just loved it. But yeah.
Holy cow.
And that's what kind of like really got me into like what I do today.
Yeah. I have so many questions out of the incredible journey that you went on here. One, just the point that, every time I listen to folks who have gone into food and bev, I think that we just need to change our education system, forcing people who might not want to focus on math and science and these other elements that a lot of things I don't even use in my job today. And allowing people to follow their passions just really needs to be pushed forward more.
I agree. Yeah, trade should definitely become more of a focus in this country. I mean, like, I couldn't do an algebra equation right now if you put a gun to my head. Like, I wouldn't know how to do it.
Geometry? Forget it.
No way. I don't even think I took calculus. Like, I was just like so not focused by any means. And we need more stuff being produced here by skilled labor in the U.S.
And also, even just the trends that we're seeing in terms of generations, as boomers are getting older, we're just seeing a lot less folks who are skilled in certain trades, and we need to bring it back.
I mean, I'm relatively young. I'll be 36 in October. And even my generation of persons, what I see today, and like the 18-year-olds that are trying to get jobs in restaurants, like the passion or the drive or work ethic it's not there anymore. And it's like, it's kind of sad. Occasionally you'll find a good one every once in a while, but they think that they're ready to be chef like the minute they walk in the door. And it's like, listen, buddy, you got to pay your dues like we did. Or like, it's
agreed.
You got to work hard.
Yeah, everyone needs the tiger stripes. You can't just say, hey, I cooked on TikTok. You've got to show, how can you handle the pressure? How can you handle teamwork and working with others. And also, like you mentioned, like working with folks who can give you a sense of mentorship so that you can learn to become that level someday.
Exactly. I don't even have a TikTok. Okay, I don't care what you did on there.
I really should start one for this podcast, but I am still holding off.
Well, don't expect me to be a follower, sir. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I understand. Different channels, different audiences.
Yeah.
Now, I also wanted to ask you, I mean, recipe development for 11 Madison Park, so cool. Did you feel like that just helped hone your craft so much more because you were forced into a situation of something totally new and not just following someone else's instructions?
Yeah, everything had to be super precise. So the way it works is they shot all the dishes first. So Chef Mom and like his team went in, they did all the dishes, decided what they were going to do. And then we had to gather all the recipes to like different books, like notes and notebooks and everything, and then like actually type up the recipes and then test them. So it was my job to execute that. And then I had to plate the final dish. And it had to look exactly like the photo. But if it didn't look exactly like the photo, we had to scratch the whole recipe and start from the beginning.
Oof.
And so I'll never forget, there was like this thing was halibut chin. So there's a chanterelle puree that had a pool of the sauce. And so it was supposed to have this wave at the end of the pool, but the wave in the picture didn't touch the plate. And so when I plated it, the wave touched the plate because the consistency of the puree wasn't correct. So I had to scratch the whole recipe and redo it. It took me like 3 days to do that one recipe.
Wow.
So it was just super intense, like very hard, like, you know, and I'm like, I was like 19, 20 years old then. Like, this is ridiculous, you know?
Right. Why does it have to be this precise?
Yeah. And like, I look back on it now and it's like, well, if you want to be the number one restaurant in the world, that's what you're going to do. But when you click on that level, especially like the fine and spurs of cooking, right? Like everybody's a type A personality. We work like 12, 14-hour days, but then there are dudes who still wake up and run 3-5 miles beforehand. You had to shave every day. That's why I started shaving my head when I was at 11 Madison. It was just a really intense environment. Like we had one sous chef. If we weren't off our station in 20 minutes at the end of the night, there was like 10 push-ups per minute. Like it was just like
the Army.
It was, yeah. And I mean, the brigade system is a brigade system for a reason, right?
Yeah.
I think things are a little more forgiving these days. But relatively speaking, it wasn't that long ago. But I'm very grateful for that experience and how I worked with Dean. And I knew that, like, that for me personally, that wasn't sustainable. But I can still bring it out if I need to.
Yeah.
But I'm much happier cooking food that makes people more comfortable and is more honest and upfront. And it's like, this is what it is. This is on the plate instead of like smoke and mirrors.
Right. You know what you're getting here.
Yeah. And that's my big thing with what we do here at Pulito's. I want to cook honest cuisine. You know, like I want people to know like where everything is coming from, what we do to it, and generally like what we don't do to it. Like just very straightforward, like starting July 1st, Mississippi just passed a law that we have to list all of our seafood, whether it's imported or domestic, which is awesome.
Yeah.
For us, that wasn't really a problem because we only have a few seafood items to begin with. We're very upfront forward about where our food comes from. And so we take it a step above. Instead of saying imported or domestic, like we always have scallops on the menu. Okay, well, it's North Atlantic. Like our tuna always comes from tuna fishing out of Alabama. So it's Alabama tuna. And we've been working with that purveyor since day one. It's always been the same thing, same guy. Just like transparency in what you're doing, I think is really important.
Yeah, I'm glad to see food has moved in that direction. And it gives you that sense of sustainability as well, right? The fish has not come from multiple barges from somewhere else or farmed with things that you wouldn't want in your body. And so it's nice to see, like, I know the exact farm it's coming from, or I know that it's coming from this fishery. This is a trend that I hope just continues. And hopefully we'll see some good change that incentivizes people to use these types of ingredients.
Same here. I mean, do you find it kind of ironic that, you're talking to the guy in Mississippi wearing a camo shirt right now saying support American? That was not planned, I promise. But it matters, and it's like I've got a great relationship with Two Dog Farm, the people that I buy 90% of my vegetables from, and like building that community and working with those people. And like Van and Dorothy, I've been working with them since 2016 when I moved back from Italy at a couple of different restaurants here. And Van and I, like, we're just legitimate good friends. Like, go have beers, and like, whenever he's got a burn pile, we'll get a can of diesel and light that sucker up and hang out. Like, it's just like, it's fun. It's nice. But then because I buy so much from him and we've supported each other so much, like, he'll text me like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about putting on the schedule. Is there anything that you want me to do differently this year?
Yeah.
And so, like, without having my farm, which is amazing,
It's your extended version of everything you were learning in Italy, where you were in the soil yourself. Talk to us a little bit more about that. So I'm learning Italian on Duolingo right now. My dream is to do a huge trip where I see the entire country. I've only spent, say, like a weekend's worth in Rome, but love Italian cuisine and the culture. You and Stanley Tucci could meet up sometime, talk through your love of it. But what do you feel like you really took home from Italian culture and how they approached food that was totally different from the hustle and bustle and the hardcore fine dining that you were experiencing in New York?
Well, I guess like the biggest thing is like life doesn't have to be chaotic.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't just have to be go, 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 go. Like you can stop and enjoy a 2-hour lunch and everything's going to be fine. And like whatever you have to deal with is still going to be there at the end of it. And that was really nice. Like, especially after those long 5 years in the city of just like, getting your teeth dug through the dirt all the time. But like the biggest thing that I take away from it is we're a Mississippi restaurant because the like readily available. Mm-hmm. And so like that was lunch on the farm like every day. Or was in the garden for like we would slaughter a cow or a pig, and the first thing we would get back that day would be the opals. Then generally first meal we had after we slaughtered that animal was going to be bread.
There you go.
Well, you use what's freshest, what's available, preserve what you can. And it's a beautiful way to live life and eat. And so that's what I do here at Pulito. Everything is seasonal. Like right now, it's too hot to have a soup on the menu. And you can't sell cold soup in Mississippi, so we won't even try, but like we do.
No gazpacho.
Like this beautiful, no, not at all. But we do this beautiful tomato salad, and then we have a marinated cucumber dish on the menu that's like an ode to my grandmother, because we're getting great cucumbers, like several different varieties right now. Peppers are coming in right now, like eggplants in. So like that's like our whole menu right now. And then like just throw beautiful basil on it, and like it's summertime. Like, it's just corn right now is killer. We've got this awesome Mississippi bicolored corn.
Oof.
And it's a wonderful time of year.
Yeah. And you eat with your eyes first. And all your other senses before you dive into it. What does this look like on the plate? And like you said, I love that you called it honest food. You see what's on your plate, you know what's going into your body. And the same descriptions on the menu, which is awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when did you decide it was time to start something new and do something that was totally your own? When did you say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur?
Well, so I moved to El Paso, Texas in 2018 for 3.5 years. My wife she had matched for a medical residency out there. You don't really get a choice on where you're going with those things. So I had to pack up and go. And so it was time to move back in 22. And I knew that I didn't really want to work for anybody in Jackson. And I wanted to bring something different. And I've been gone for 3 years. And I was like, I'd done the whole thing where I left, come back and work for people. And like, I'm not going to lie, like really hard to come back from New York City and immediately work at like this restaurant that have like a 600% capacity. And like, I took away a lot of like really good organizational things as far as doing like banquets and big parties and like volume cooking, which I'd done volume cooking, but not like on that level.
Yeah.
So like I learned a lot more about like management, big cost management, and other people, and like all very important things but I just always had this like desire to bring something different to Jackson, my home, or specifically Belhaven, the neighborhood that I was born and raised in. I still live in today. My parents still live here. My sister lives next door to my mother, which kind of sounds like very Italian now when I'm saying it out loud.
Yes. I was going to say, it's very like when you're here, your family.
Yeah, for sure. But, you know, I'd started a pasta company like on the side before I moved to El Paso, and I was selling pasta out of my apartment, a couple different restaurants, and at the farmer's market. And so there wasn't like anyone making their own pasta here. And I was like, all right, this is it, Monday. So I wrote a business plan, started going to some people, wrote some private equity, and then also got an SBA loan. It just so happened that this development that we're in called the Belhaven Town Center, and I actually have that space as well now for my dog bar directly across the street. But there was an opportunity to come into this building in the development that's called the Laundry Market. And so I signed the lease, really had no clue what I was doing at all. But I was like, you know what, screw it. Either I'm going to owe people a bunch of money and I'm going to have to leave town, or it's going to do well. And it's done the latter. So I got lucky in that regard. But nobody really cooks the way that we cook here at Pulito, which is what makes us unique.
Yeah.
It's approachable. So, yeah, we have issues with some guest education, as I like to call it, because here we don't list like the pasta dishes, like we're not like bolognese and then like list out the ingredients and the noodle. We do it Italian style. We're set up on the Osteria style menu. So it's antipasta, pizza, secondo, creamy, cantoni, and then, you know, obviously don't do dessert. And so we encourage sharing, and we want everybody to come in and share a family style meal, which is a pretty wild concept here. Like,
really?
everybody wants what they want. Yeah. And like people around here feel like if they don't leave with a to-go box, then they got you know, and they're like, it's always been like protein, starch, vegetable sauce. Like that's what everybody does here. So we've had to do some guest education, like all of our pastas are listed by the shape first, and then we list like whatever's in the dish. And still people are like, oh, I can't even read this menu. It's not in English. I'm like, all right, calm down. Like,
We'll walk you through.
So,
yeah,
it's not that hard. I know it's a little intimidating right now, but you know, like first time, sure, second time, third time, you're going to be a pro.
Yep.
And that also takes a lot of staff education. We're one of the few restaurants in town that actually do like family meal and have a lineup every day. And so that's big, and it makes our staff feel appreciated, but it also allows us to address a lot of things that could have happened the night before, or like guests are coming in with certain restrictions or celebrations or things like that. That's really important. And at the end of the day, all of those things combined, you know, affect the guest experience. And our goal is to make sure that every guest has an experience where they feel like they're coming into someone's home, feeling welcome, and leave happy.
Yeah, I appreciate that you are bringing essentially your Michelin-starred background to a place that you said doesn't even usually have family style or small plates sharing on menus. And you're doing it in a way that's approachable. And I also appreciate that if someone hasn't seen something before, there's no sense of making someone feel awkward or putting them down. It's just, this is something really exciting. This is not your Olive Garden. This is not something that you'd see like this. This is true, authentic Italian food, gorgeous handmade pasta. But like you said, with that Southern hospitality and ingredient standpoint. So this sounds great. I can't wait to visit. You know, I'm going to have to come on down. And
we actually were approaching my year anniversary of this incident, but someone left the Google review saying that I needed to go take cooking lessons at Olive Garden. Because it's just like, whatever, typical Mississippi, like, you know.
You like what you like, I guess.
Yeah, this ain't Italian. So I went to Olive Garden and posted a picture of me in front of it with a link to the review and said, taking the recommendation of my latest 1-star review, thanks Denise or whatever her name was.
Sometimes you gotta turn some of those bad reviews on the head, maybe have a laugh with it. And like you said, it's an opportunity for education. It's not trying to talk down to someone. It's, hey, if you want Olive Garden one night, you and I, before we even started recording, we're talking about like, sometimes you need a Little Caesars pizza. And I'm also a Chicago girl.
With the bottle in Valley Ranch.
Yeah, with the entire bottle, basically, and the marinara and all the dipping sauces. And, growing up in Chicago and falling in love with food, yeah, I've definitely become a pizza snob. I can say, I don't like your cheese to sauce ratio. I don't like how this tastes. It's gooey or yucky. But there's a time and place for, hey, I want something quick and easy, that comfort sense. And then you're bringing the higher end comfort food that someone can fall in love with and say, wow, this could be something really special and something new to try.
Absolutely. And you like what you like, and I'm not going to judge you for it. Well, not publicly or out loud, but...
Yeah, just the shaking of the head as you read it. I do want to talk a little bit more about Mississippi. So I myself have only visited Oxford. We're Ole Misses when I was doing my startup and I was on a road trip trying to reach people. And I'd love...
I'm in there tonight.
Oh, I think it's a very cute downtown. I thought it was
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So I'd love for folks to hear, again, you're going to get a lot of Midwestern listeners, Chicago listeners, people from New York, or foodies who love to go to high-end places. What would be your pitch for folks to say, Jackson, Mississippi has great food and you can really fall in love with places? What would you say is something that people are missing out on that we don't realize?
Well, so first of all, our state motto is the hospitality state. Mm-hmm. So that kind of says it all right there. If people are going to make you feel welcome, they're going to ask you how you're doing, they're going to hold the door open. And that's not just us being fake Southerners.
Right.
That's just genuine Mississippi. Mississippi has a deep, rich cultural history. At the end of the day, it's the home of the blues, home of rock and roll. You ever heard of Elvis? Yeah. He's from here. And we do have some really, really good food. Jackson per capita, I think, has some of the best restaurants, as far as just good, consistent restaurants. We've got some killer people here in this town and throughout the state. Oxford's another town that's absolutely killing it on the food spectrum right now. You got St. Leo up there. You've got City Grocery, which is an old stalwart, Raft, John Steak. He worked at the French Laundry. That dude's there's just a lot of really cool, interesting things happening here. And nobody really thinks to give us a chance because they all think that we're barefoot and have bust beef and don't wear shirts. Maybe you can't see my shirt right now. I am wearing one. Oh, damn, I thought I was scared. But yeah, it's just a really warm, let's say emotionally warm place. It is hot as hell here, but the people are warm and inviting. They're going to help you if you need anything. And we, as Mississippians, we love nothing more than someone from a foreign place or the other end of the country, comes here just to come here and see what we're about. And we go above and beyond to make sure that their experience is the best it can be. I generally, when we have guests from another country or from a bigger city, I always try and make it a point to stop by the table and say hello and ask what they're doing here. It's a great place.
Well, I'm glad you shared that because this is also just such a tough time that, for a while we've been very divided. So for someone, say, living up north or on the coast, they might say, maybe I need the warm hug of Mississippi hospitality and the amazing food at Pulito and these other places.
Yeah, absolutely. We're genuine and caring people. So my best friend's from the old country in Texas, with the floods that just happened this past weekend. We upset about it. There were a couple of people that were directly impacted. And so Friday night with Pulito and Rowan's, 10% of all of our sales are going to the Kirk County Community Fund for a food bank drive that we're doing. So, we did something for the LA fires, even though those people may not necessarily think about us, we're thinking about them. We're just doing what we can, let people know, hey, thinking about you over here in Mississippi. And that goes back to if someone, someone was sick or had a baby or someone had a death in the family, mom was showing up with gumbo. It's just kind of instilled in us, the Southern hospitality.
Yeah.
It's just how we were born and raised and got to keep that tradition going.
Thank you for doing that. And if you've got a link on the website or anything, we'll make sure to include that in the show notes so folks can help with the donations here. Thanks for sending the metaphorical gumbo around the country.
That to make mama proud,
Yeah. Well, You've talked a lot about the success that you've had so far, which is amazing. What would you say are some of those biggest challenges that you faced outside of education as you were opening a restaurant for the first time, as well as a bar that's totally different? What would you want someone who's thinking about the space or is interested in hospitality and getting into it to know what they need to buckle up for?
For me personally, like the biggest thing was having good people, like having good people around me. I had no clue how to write a business plan or build a budget. I got really lucky. There's a guy here, his name's Gil Turpin. He's a former private equity guy out of Dallas. Like, he's brilliant. But his wife was from Carroll County, Mississippi. And when they both retired, they wanted to move to Jackson. So he, in his retirement, opened a bakery. And he baked bread for 6 years in his retirement. And I got to know him that way because I was buying his bread. And like, so Gil helped me do all of it. Like, you know, he never pays for anything in my restaurant, but like, he's been like a super valuable source as far as like dealing with banks and like how to read a lease and things like that. And then even just like my daily stuff, like, you know, I've got Margie back there right now. She kills all the meatballs, Caesar dressing, tiramisu, the arancinis, like stuff that she does every single day, but does the same exact way every single day, and making that like very consistent. Like, consistency is one of the biggest things in a restaurant. If you're not consistent, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
And so like finding good, consistent people that care is hard, but they're out there. And then you find those people, you have to treat them well and take care of them. But like I said, Pulito is closed today. We open back up tomorrow after our week-long summer vacation. And then we take another break the first week of January after we just like get, you know, stomped on during the holiday season.
Yeah.
Like, people in restaurants aren't used to having set vacations. And so then knowing that it's like, all right, guys, 6 months down, then we get a week off, you know, 6 months down, we get a week off. Like that goes a long way for people, and just let them know that you care about them, because I can't run this restaurant by myself.
Yeah.
I cannot. When I was younger, maybe I thought I could have, but it's just not possible, you know. And so having people to help you along the way is the biggest thing you can do, or else you're just going to get overwhelmed. Like,
You're going to be burnt out. Yeah. And that's a really good founder mentality for any type of business is, yes, it's hard work. Yes, you're grinding, and people think things are overnight successes, and it takes years to be an overnight success. But if you don't take care of the people that helped bring the mission and the vision along the way, then you're going to be stuck there, like you said, in debt and having a hard time and learning those lessons essentially from the tough times.
Yeah. And look, there are sleepless nights, and you do get stressed out. Like, there's no avoiding that. You know, we're at 2.5 years right now at Pulito. And I really think that this is going to be our year, and we're really hitting our stride now. I mean, we've been very lucky. We've been very well received. There's still that grind. There's still that push yourself to make yourself better. So the Michelin Guide's coming to South.
Really?
That's going to be it. Yeah.
Ooh.
So Michelin has created a region called American South, and it's Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, North and South Carolina, and Tennessee. And that gets announced November 3rd. I never thought that we would even have a chance to get a Michelin star, because I didn't think they would ever come to Mississippi. And like, now that goal might be attainable. Like, we're really pushing ourselves to become a better restaurant. Like, not that we don't try that every single day.
Yeah.
But like, knowing that that goal is there, it makes you work even harder. But making sure that your staff also believes in what you're trying to do as well. And I would say 99% of my staff believe in what I'm doing. Like,
that's the people you need.
Yeah. I just feel really good about it. I mean, if we don't get a Michelin star, we try again next year. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are we a Michelin star restaurant? I hope so. But it's not the end of the honor. We can just try again.
We're manifesting stars here. That's awesome. I think people are also surprised when Michelin just hasn't been everywhere, and they're like, I don't understand how this works.
Right.
Or like, what's a star versus just recognized? I went to a gorgeous Michelin recognized place in Mexico City earlier this year, and I'm like, this is bomb. Why didn't, what's the difference?
Right. Well, I know. I get it.
Yeah. So how are you taking care of yourself? Things are crazy. You're running your own business. Life can feel very unpredictable, and things are constantly changing in our climate right now. How are you staying the course and focusing on, say, goals like stars and taking care of the folks around you?
Well, I mean, it's important. You got to take care of yourself. Look, I'll party pretty hard throughout my life. Like, I was young line cook in New York. I also played in a rock and roll band in high school. Like, I love to have a good time, but I am getting older. And if I don't start my day by 8:30 in the morning, like, the next thing I know, it's 2:00 when we're trying to get ready for dinner service. The day's a wash. So I've got to be up early in the morning. Like, I bought a rowing machine. I've been hitting that thing every morning.
Nice.
Getting into juicing a little bit, doing some green juices. It's really helped my outcome. And also just like lowering recreational fun. I don't do that as much. It's not conducive to being a stable person or a level-headed person who has to manage a bunch of other people that at the end of the day, you're managing your goal through them. So you really have to like buckle down, like be a good example, but also have your bond and make sure that you're not being irrational or fly off the handle or anything like that.
Yeah.
So kind of having more of a routine, sticking to it, and like really trying to like push myself to be a better person.
Yeah. There's something also about reaching mid-30s where it's like almost fun to just take care of yourself more. You know, I'm in bed. I'm not having as much alcohol. Like, catch me at home.
Yeah. I mean, like I opened a bar, which was always my dream, and I like never there past 8 p.m. You know, like
you got to go to bed. You got to feel good.
Don't need to be there because then I'm going to run into somebody and next thing I know, it's going to be 11 and, you know, it's not going to make the next day as easy as it should be. So,
exactly. Couple last questions before we get to our favorite question here on the podcast. So what would you say you're most proud of? How do you want to continue to grow? And what do you think is next in the journey?
Well, I know what's next. I've got that in the pipeline. I'd say what I'm most proud of is like what I'm doing to like help Jackson and help even my neighborhood, like adding value to it, like creating more of a space for community. So I just purchased a gas station around the corner from Pulito that was built in 1928.
Wow.
It's on the historic register. And so I'm going to turn that into a private event space. It's called Shady Note. That's what the gas station was called.
Cool.
I don't know if we're going to keep it, but it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I've always loved the building. You know, I grew up riding my bike by it. When the realtor who had it, it was his office for like 35 years. When he put it on the market, I was like, hey, I got to do this. And he was very happy to sell it to me because my family's association here in the neighborhood. My mom started the neighborhood foundation 20 years ago. She just retired and started our city council representative. So being a part of the community and giving back to where I grew up, that's what I'm most proud of.
That's amazing. And like you said, you're bringing all of these different experiences and saying, yes, I'm coming home, and home's just going to get even more exciting and fun for everyone because there's something new.
Exactly.
What would you say is your biggest piece of advice for someone who wants to be an entrepreneur or start something totally of their own, whether it's in food and bev or any other industry?
Be unique and be different and make it approachable. Don't alienate anyone. Like, all money is green. You've got to be able to work with everyone, and you've got to be able to make everyone feel welcome. And don't isolate yourself from anyone. You
know, they do say that about any type of job is the hardest part is usually people, working with other people, understanding other people, meeting them where they are, and being empathetic enough to say, I might not know totally what's going on in your life or have any sort of similar background to you, but we're here to work towards that same mission together.
Right. Yeah. It's really important. Yeah. And there's nothing more like human than sharing the meal with someone.
100%.
And so that's like the oldest thing we have in this world. So like do it well and make sure that everyone feels welcome.
Yes. And it's, again, it transcends any language, any culture, and you get to learn about so many different places and history and people that way. It really is the best.
Yeah, I love it. I love what I do. That's another thing. You got to love it.
Move on to something else. Agreed.
Yeah.
Life is too short to be doing something that just doesn't feel good. You got to work hard, but it doesn't feel as bad when your whole heart is in it.
Yeah.
All right, Chaz. Sadly, we're approaching the end here. I've really enjoyed our conversation. This has been super fun.
This has been awesome. I've really enjoyed it too. This has been an easy one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I love it because it's like I'm just sitting in my kitchen here alone, but yet we're connecting probably 1,000 miles away, and you get to make new friends, and we get to share it with the world, which is awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So to the question that people have called demonic, but I just like to think of it as how we get to know each other better. A reminder for folks that the Perfect Bite is called as such because it's a bit of a perfect bite of our food and beverage industry, talking to folks from different backgrounds. But it's also because we have our own perfect bite, something completely unique to us and our own taste buds, our own memories, and something that matters to us. So, Chaz, what is your perfect bite?
Well, we've talked about tomatoes and
yes.
So my perfect bite, and I thought about this a lot. And then, so roasted steak, cut doesn't really matter for me. It could be a fillet, it could be a strip, but cast iron roasted steak, butter basted, nice, like char on it, well seasoned, salt, peppery, and then it's just a really well made béarnaise.
Oh yeah.
And just dip a slice of that and take it straight to the downs. That's like my perfect bite. And it's like, that's death meal as well. Like definitely meal, like for sure.
Are you a steak frites person? Do you want some fries there? Or what's a contorni that you're getting there?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be fries. 100%.
Oh,
like, I want that béarnaise sauce. I want like 8 ounces of it. Like we want a healthy portion.
Oh yeah.
So,
we need sauce. We need a condiment. That's probably one of my favorites too, is a really amazing steak frite. Maybe you have like a crisp wine with it and you're just hanging out and enjoying things. Very European.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'd probably take like a PBR, but that's me.
Listen, this is your way of instilling that Southern culture again. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Chaz, this has been awesome. Can you please let listeners know where we can find you? So your venues, where they're located, your social accounts, and websites, anything else we should know?
Yeah, so Pulito Osteria and Rowan's are both located in the Bellingham Town Center in Jackson, Mississippi. They're directly across the street from each other. And our Instagram, that's mostly what we use. Instagram is Pulito Osteria. In Rowan's, it's Rowan's on Jefferson Street. Those are our handles. So we look forward to welcoming you.
Yes. Well, folks, make sure to follow along and get yourself to Jackson, Mississippi for some amazing food and hospitality. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. And this was Chef Chaz Lindsay's Perfect Bite. Thanks for tuning in to The Perfect Bite today. You can listen to future episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Thanks in advance for subscribing, rating, and reviewing. You can follow The Perfect Bite on social media @PerfectBitePod. Now go get something good to eat.